Think a shady yard means no color, no flowers, and no fun. Think again. There's a whole world of perennials that thrive in the shade, bringing lush foliage, delicate flowers, and beautiful texture to even the darkest corners of your garden. In this video, we're showing you 10 must-have shade-loving perennials every garden needs. These plants aren't just survivors, they're stunners. Perfect for tucking under trees, brightening up north-facing beds, or transforming that tricky spot that never sees the sun. Let's dive in and discover the perennials that prove shady gardens can be just as vibrant and full of life. We start the list with hosta, the undisputed queen of the shade garden. Known for its dramatic foliage, hosta comes in hundreds of varieties, featuring leaves in shades of green, blue, gold, and even variegated patterns. Some have huge architectural leaves that make a bold statement, while others are compact and perfect for edging. Hostas thrive in partial to full shade, and they appreciate rich, moist soil with good drainage. They're incredibly easy to grow, and once established, they form long-lived clumps that can be divided every few years. In midsummer, many varieties also send up tall flower spikes with delicate, bell-shaped blooms in shades of white or lavender. Beyond beauty, hostas are one of the best choices for low-maintenance, big-impact planting. They're also excellent for layering and combining with finer textured plants like ferns or coral bells to create that lush woodland look. Hostas are perfect beneath trees, along shaded paths, or mixed into foundation beds where their bold foliage can create contrast and rhythm throughout the season. Next on the list is Astilbe, the ultimate shade perennial for elegant, feathery flower plumes. These beautiful plants bloom in early to midsummer, with flowers that range from soft pinks and whites to deep purples and vibrant reds, depending on the variety. Their finely divided, fern-like foliage adds softness and texture that pairs beautifully with bolder-leaved plants. Astilbes thrive in partial to full shade and prefer consistently moist soil. They don't like to dry out. In fact, they're one of the few shade perennials that truly enjoy damp conditions, making them perfect for low-lying areas or near-shaded ponds and water features. One of the best things about Astilbe is its refined, graceful look. It's perfect for gardeners who want soft texture and color in cooler, shaded areas without giving up on flowers. Plant Astilbe in groups beneath trees, along shaded fences, or in mass along moist garden edges to create waves of color that sway beautifully in the breeze. At number 3, we have the romantic and timeless bleeding heart, a springtime favorite known for its graceful arching stems and heart-shaped pink or white blooms. It's one of those plants that instantly brings an old-world charm to shaded garden corners. Bleeding heart thrives in partial to full shade and does best in cool, moist, well-drained soil. It emerges early in spring and blooms through late spring to early summer. After flowering, the foliage may go dormant in midsummer, especially in hotter climates, so it pairs well with other plants that fill in later. What makes bleeding heart a must-have is its delicate, airy presence. It looks like something straight out of a fairy tale, and despite its fragile appearance, it's surprisingly hardy and long-lived. Bleeding heart is perfect for tucking beneath trees, layering behind hostas, or nestling into woodland edges where its arching stems can gracefully spill forward in dappled light. Coming in at number 4, we have Brunnera, often called false forget-me-not for its clusters of tiny, sky-blue flowers that bloom in early spring. But its real star power lies in its striking heart-shaped leaves, especially in silver-leaved cultivars like Jack Frost, which glow in shady corners and add brightness and texture long after the blooms fade. Brunnera prefers partial to full shade and thrives in moist, well-drained soil. It forms tidy mounds of foliage that slowly spread into clumps, making it an ideal low-maintenance ground cover over time. It's very cold hardy and returns reliably year after year, often one of the first perennials to emerge in spring. This is a plant that brings elegance and resilience with beauty from both its flowers and foliage. It combines perfectly with ferns, hostas, and coral bells to build a layered shade garden with texture and contrast. Plant Brunnera along shaded walkways, beneath trees, or in front of larger shade shrubs where its shimmering foliage can brighten up the darker parts of your landscape. At number 5, we shift to the graceful Japanese painted fern, a textural masterpiece with soft, lacy fronds dusted in silver, purple, and deep green hues. It brings color and movement to shaded beds without ever producing a single flower, proving that foliage alone can be just as show-stopping. This fern thrives in full to partial shade and prefers rich, moist, well-drained soil. It's relatively low-growing, often under 2 feet tall, and spreads slowly over time to form soft drifts of color. Once established, it's easy to maintain and incredibly reliable, adding softness and a cool feeling to your garden. What makes the Japanese painted fern so special is how it plays with light and contrast. The silver fronds practically shimmer in the shade and highlight nearby greens or dark-leaved plants. It's a must-have for adding texture and color without ever needing blooms. Use this fern to edge shaded beds, tuck into woodland plantings, or weave between bolder foliage plants like hostas or ligularia for a layered painterly effect. Lungwort might have an odd name, but it's a true gem in shady gardens. It produces early spring flowers in shades of blue, purple, or pink, sometimes all on the same plant, followed by spotted or frosted foliage that adds texture and brightness for the rest of the season. Pulmonaria thrives in partial to full shade, especially in areas with moist, humus-rich soil. It's a clumping perennial that spreads slowly and stays fairly compact, making it ideal for smaller beds or the front of borders. Once established, it's very resilient and can even tolerate dry shade better than many other plants. What makes Lungwort so special is its two-season appeal. You get both flowers and standout foliage. The speckled leaves help break up solid greens and add visual interest in low-light areas where variety in leaf shape and color really makes a difference. Plant Lungwort at the edge of shady borders, along garden paths, or near patio seating areas where its quirky foliage and spring flowers can be easily admired up close. Foamflower is an excellent native perennial that brings delicate charm to the shade garden with its frothy white or pale pink flower spikes in spring and textured, maple-like foliage that often takes on deep reddish veining or fall color. It's a ground cover that performs beautifully in naturalistic or woodland-style gardens. Tyrella prefers part to full shade and enjoys moist, well-drained soil. It forms low mounds of attractive foliage that spread gently by runners, creating a soft green carpet. It's excellent for stabilizing soil on shaded slopes or filling in between larger plants without crowding them. One of its best qualities is that it provides seasonal blooms and long-lasting foliage on a compact plant, making it ideal for layering and edge plantings. It also plays well with ferns, heucheras, and hostas for a textural, shade-loving mix. Use foamflower as a ground cover beneath shrubs, on shaded slopes, or at the front of woodland borders where its airy flowers and attractive leaves can create a soft, natural look. Solomon's seal is one of the most graceful and architectural shade perennials you can grow. It features arching stems with pairs of dangling, bell-shaped flowers in spring and handsome, slightly bluish foliage that turns buttery yellow in the fall. This plant thrives in part to full shade and appreciates moist, humus-rich soil. It spreads slowly by rhizomes, forming elegant colonies over time that look best when allowed to grow naturally. It's also highly resistant to deer and tolerates dry shade once established. Solomon's seal is a plant that exudes calm and elegance. It looks like it belongs in a Japanese garden, and its form adds a sense of movement and flow to shaded areas. It's especially striking in larger drifts or natural groupings. Plant Solomon's seal beneath mature trees in dappled shade near pathways or layered behind low-growing ground covers to provide height and a graceful backdrop. No shade garden is complete without a few ferns, and luckily there are many varieties to choose from. From the delicate maidenhair to the bold ostrich fern, ferns provide soft texture, rich green color, and movement that brings a peaceful, almost tropical feeling to shaded spaces. Most ferns thrive in full to partial shade and prefer moist, cool, organic, rich soil. They're generally pest-resistant and tolerant of deep shade, making them ideal for difficult areas where flowering plants struggle. Once planted, ferns are low maintenance and typically return reliably each spring. Their strength is in repetition and rhythm. Grouped together, ferns create flowing textures that soothe the eye and give structure to shady borders. And with so many shapes and sizes, you can easily build layers that feel rich but not overwhelming. Use ferns as a soft filler beneath taller shrubs. Weave them between blooming perennials, or plant them in swaths to create serene, woodland-inspired beds that stay beautiful all season. Rounding out the list is coral bells, a perennial grown primarily for its striking, colorful foliage. With varieties in shades of burgundy, lime green, silver, peach, and even near black, heuchera adds bold color and clean edges to any shaded bed. Tiny flower spikes appear in late spring or early summer, but it's really the leaves that steal the show. Heuchera grows well in part to full shade, preferring well-drained soil and average moisture. It's compact and mounding, typically under 1.5 feet tall, and it's perfect for layering in the front of beds or in containers. It's also evergreen in mild climates, offering year-round color where many perennials disappear. Because of its incredible color range and tidy shape, coral bells are incredibly versatile in the landscape. They're also deer-resistant and tolerant of urban environments. Plant heuchera at the front of shaded borders, in mixed containers, or along garden paths to provide year-round structure, contrast, and pops of unexpected color. And there you have it, 10 shade-loving perennials that every garden needs. From bold textures to delicate flowers, these plants prove that even the darkest corners of your yard can be full of color, charm, and life. Whether you're starting a brand new shade garden or refreshing an old one, these dependable picks will bring lasting beauty year after year. They're easy to grow, easy to love, and perfect for adding structure, softness, and a bit of magic to those cooler, quieter garden spaces. Thanks for watching PlantDo. If you found this list helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more garden inspiration, and as always, happy planting!